My prayers, I wanted to say my prayer sucks. You better edit that out, but it's nothing to write home about. But I like just sitting in the presence of the Lord, asking, keep me faithful to you, never let me be separated from you.
How did I become a Jesuit? It's a little unusual.
My vocation story is rather simple and a bit undramatic.
There were 20 of us out of our high school class who entered the Jesuits. Jesuits was part of my blood from the time I grew up.
Coming out from the service, I was dislocated. I didn't know what I wanted to do.
Came to love the society from the first times that I came into it, and I still have a love affair for the society.
I was around Jesuits, but I never thought of being a priest. I was going to be an aeronautical engineer and design rockets and stuff like that.
So one evening I had attended a social affair where a Jesuit was present. I suggested that I'd thought about being a Jesuit at one time, but I was too old then, 38. Just to make conversation more than anything else, his immediate response was, "The provincial is coming to Kansas City in a couple of weeks. Would you like me to make an appointment for you to see him?" I was trapped. I didn't know what to do, so I said yes.
I come from a family of healers. My father was a doctor, both my brothers are doctors, and I figured I wanted to be a healer, but I'd like to do permanent healing, and that kind of led me toward society. I wanted to live in community, I wanted to be a teacher, and I felt that the best shot at that would be to enter this society.
We had outstanding scholastics in those days. And Father Maury Van Akron was the principal, and he had been an All-American basketball player at Creighton U. And on certain nights, we'd have open gym nights. And by that time, he was in his, I think, late 40s. But if you were under the basket and wanted to get a rebound or something, he might have a finger on your belt, and he was getting the ball.
Fui a un seminario menor, que era una high school. Y allí en el contacto con los padres jesuitas, sobre todo los maestrillos, los jóvenes, me pregunté si realmente yo no podría ser como estos también, que hacen. Leí muchas vidas de santos, me gustaba mucho la vida de los santos jesuitas, ¿no? Y eso me fue animando para pedirle entrada a los jesuitas, que entré ya a los 17 años.
I was in the hospital as a novice, in bed for 9 months. Well, the novice director brought in books on the history of the society. He had to do something to distract me. Big 2-volume history of Robert Bellarmine, 1 big volume on Peter Canisius, and I devoured them. I loved them. I became, by temperament and by training, a historian.
The way society has allowed me to develop in my own way, and I don't look at that selfishly, but I look at it in a way that has helped me grow to be able to help other people.
Pero mi vocación siempre fue pastoral. Pastoral en el sentido de llevar el mensaje de Jesús a las personas. Y de hecho, pues la alegría fue que se me dio desde el comienzo. Yo toda mi vida, ¿cuántos años llevo? Creo que 27 años de vida pastoral, ha sido en la predicación y en el acompañamiento de personas.
I guess my most successful time in the society has been the 20-some years I served as a local parish. Through the sacramental life and watching them grow in it, baptism, marriage, funerals, and just guiding people generally in a deeper spiritual life, which so many people are seeking.
One of my proudest memories is of being able to say the Mass, the midnight Mass in Sainbite, a Carib Garifuna village in Garifuna. It was the first time Mass was ever, to my knowledge, ever said in Garifuna anywhere. And it kind of started a renaissance of pride, I think, by the Carib people, pride in their own culture. She's an older woman, mid to late 70s. She came up to me after Mass. The people were all milling around as we do after Mass, and that's all she said to me, Nyudaha nanigi. Nyudaha nanigi. It went, nanigi, to my heart. And she was just so ecstatic, and I was too.
They sent me to places I didn't always want to go to, and I found out afterwards they were right. One of my superiors gave me 4 choices and told me to put them in rank order, and I did. He chose the one that I had last, but it turned out to be exactly the right thing for me.
In a sense, I feel I'm always at prayer. Everything I do is part of my prayer life. Not this, what I call the formal prayer time, but when I get into my prayer chair and I look up, I say, Spirit above, get me in touch with the Spirit within. And that's how I start all my prayer these days. And it works.
Bueno, si están considerando, pensando ser miembro de la compañía, yo creo que deben tener bien concreto lo siguiente, ¿no? La compañía son personas que encontraron a Jesús. Jesús es la clave de todo, ¿no? O sea, que la persona de Jesús del cual te enamoras, que ilumina tu vida.
Getting to know Jesus personally, which in a way I have taken for granted in my own life, but I just find for so many people it is life-changing.
I think it's been society gave me, through the spiritual exercises, promoted a relationship with Jesus the person to me, and that's been the core of my identity as a Jesuit, as far as I'm concerned. And I will generally tell people, don't come because we've got prestigious schools or because we're nice guys or anything like that. I said, you don't know whether we'll still be in the schools when you're ordained. You don't know whether you'll have a community of nice guys. I said, come for only one reason, that you want a relationship with Jesus and to do his mission in the world.
¿Dónde está la necesidad grande? A mí me gusta mucho eso de los jesuitas, porque no tenemos algo concreto. No me ordeno para atender parroquias, como el diocesano. No me ordeno para atender enfermos, como los padres camilianos, o para la enseñanza de los niños, como las congregaciones de hermanas o hermanos de la Salle. ¿No? Yo me ordeno para lo que la iglesia a la que yo quiero servir necesita.
People. It's awesome, the human beings with whom I am associated in society, but also the folks who come to us for ministry in all the areas where I've been.
Marvelous people, both Jesuit and lay, and they have edified me, they have encouraged me, they've given me support, and a lot of them have been a tremendous amount of fun to be around and work with. I've been spoiled in that sense.
But to meet the young, excited church, young couples, young families, and older families who, in their more mature years, have decided they really wanted to follow Christ by living love in their lives. And I came to realize that part of my call as a priest, Jesuit, yes, but especially as a priest, was to love the church with that same intensity and dedication and trying to figure out how to let it become selfless. So I learned a lot.
I think one of the key moments of grace was that illness. Being at a very early stage in my life in this society, simply saying, I don't know where this is going, but I want to be here.
You know, I have a lot of heroes in the society, and several of them are down in the pavilion. You know, one of them, Chris Panay, he's in a wheelchair, you know, from his accident being hit by a car. He says, I think 30 more years is possible for me. 30 more years in a wheelchair, 30 more years being permanently catheterized, which means he has to go to the hospital several times a year when it gets infected. And yet he remains cheerful.
We're not getting the numbers that we used to. But as Mother Teresa said famously, and she had the numbers, she said, I don't need numbers. I need people who are joyful and who want to do this work.
I like their spirit today, the young men. They're so vibrant.
I have simplified my thinking in my older years to this. I think it's all about fidelity. My life in this society is all about being faithful to the Lord through my vows. My vows are just my way of trying to tell the Lord, Lord, I want to be faithful to you. I want to live poorly like you. I want to live chaste like you. I think that's what I'd like to tell a young Jesuit. Be faithful and you'll be fine.
Pues que el muchacho que quiera ser jesuita se enamore con la figura de Jesús y que sienta el deseo de servir a la iglesia donde él se sienta más útil porque la iglesia lo necesita más. Oye, estoy hablando muy rápido. Es que yo me emociono y entonces me olvido.
When God sees that we're no longer of use to the church, He'll let us go. But I think that if the Jesuits followed the Ignatian spirit and continue to live by his vision, we will survive. And it's a great future, I think, for young men today. If you're interested in working with people and you want to help them on a good path to God, to eternity, which is the goal of our lives, then join the Jesuits.
I can look at my own life as a Jesuit, and there are ups and there are downs and there are in-betweens. But overall, I have been truly blessed.
I've been blessed, and God's good. God is good.